Yeah, we never gonna skip that intro right there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lawrence Report. And on tonight's broadcast, we'll be discussing episode 4 of X-Men 97. Now, y'all, this right here was kind of like a two-part episode, right? We saw Jubilee and we saw Storm, right? And I can say this here. I hate to say it, but I'm about to say it. The first half of this episode with Jubilee absolutely was boring to me. Things really didn't get turned up until we saw the Storm part of the episode. So, episode 4, X-Men 97, we see Jubilee. It's her 18th birthday. She wants to turn up, she wants to celebrate. But Magneto has other plans for the team, right? He basically wants him to go into the danger room and to practice just in case Mr. Sinister, comes back, so they'll be sharp, witty, and ready to go. Like the whole team's like, yo, Magneto, let her turn up for her birthday. And he's like, I think we need to practice before we do any types of celebration, right? So Jubilee, she turns to another young person that is, similar her age range. I'm talking about Sunspot, right? And she confides in him saying that, listen, can I just turn up for my birthday? I don't want to worry about, she said this right, Jean's great clone. I don't have to worry about Professor Charles Xavier. I just want to turn up, right? And then they end up seeing this game system called the Motendo, right? And you remember those X-Men games back in the day, which I thought was pretty dope in itself. I know me and my cousins, we definitely played those X-Men video games back in the day. She sees this gaming system called the Nintendo, right? So her and Sunspot, they're like, yo, let's play a little bit. But unfortunately, they end up getting trapped inside of the game system. So her 18th birthday didn't go as well as she thought it was going to be. In fact, they also have to fight off this villain by the name of Mojo. And Jubilee actually sees a future version of herself in this video game. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Apsika. I hope I pronounced that right. So she sees a future version of herself in this game right here. And eventually they end up defeating the villain Mojo, and they defeat these other type Sentinels. And again, this part right here I thought was pretty dope with the video games. So I did enjoy that aspect. Switching gears to the Storm part of this episode right here, which is basically part 2, right? Which was only, I think, roughly 7 or 8 minutes. Like I said earlier, I feel like it could have been longer. I think it really needs like a 30-minute episode, but that's just my opinion to it. So, Storm is working with Forge. This man right here is feeding her, I think it was some type of chili type food, and he's pouring wine for her. He's whining and dining Storm because, they're going to kind of like fall in love eventually, right? And, while they're doing that, she's asking history and, how did he become the man that he is right now, right? In fact, they end up going out to ride horses, and he's just trying to take her mind, I believe, off everything when it comes to her losing her powers, right? But things kind of take a turn, right? Because she asks him, why are you working to help me so much? And his reply is like, listen, I owe Professor X a great deal. He kind of like saved my life in a nutshell, right? We know he did that for countless mutants, right? And he has this machine that he wants her to step into, right? And this machine is hopefully going to help restore her powers, but it doesn't. And this scene right here actually absolutely broke my heart. When it came to Storm, she's reaching up to the sky, asking for her power. She's like, I'm paraphrasing here, she's like, the winds come to me, or something like that she was saying. Keep in mind, I'm paraphrasing. And none of that happened for her. Like, her powers are gone. In fact, she ends up dropping down to her knees, wondering, why me? Like, why did it have to be me? And eventually Storm does come around, and she asks Forge, this is too good to be true. So I gotta know, why are you helping me? And Forge, unfortunately, rips the Band-Aid off, and he tells her that I create a weapon that made you lose your powers. I was working for the government. I was hurt. I was lonely. And Storm's like, how could you work for the government? Out of all the people, you know what they do to us mutants. So Storm was absolutely hurt. And you know, this guy Thor just so head over heels for Storm. You know, she's wanting to leave the place where they're at now, right? He tells her that he loves her. And Storm ain't trying to hear that, because you create a weapon that you know the government would love to have, because the same weapon is going to harm millions and millions of mutants, right? And you did this right here, and you claim to be one of us, one of us yourself. So, in fact, Storm, she slaps him. She slaps the taste buds out of Forge's mouth. That had me dying. And at the same time, we have to talk about the adversary. Now, this right here comes from a manifestation of Forge, right? You know, when he was in the war, and we know that he is part of a Native American descent, right? The adversary basically comes to kill and destroy planets, worlds, things of that nature right there. And, you know, Forge thought that the adversary was vanquished and banished, right? But unfortunately, the adversary is now back on the earth, and a lot of it is Forge's fault. Now, we know that this is going to be, in my personal opinion, from what I'm seeing, is going to be the big bad villain that's coming up for this season. So you got Sinister, and you may have to deal with the adversary as well. So it's two types of villains that the X-Men are going to have to deal with this season right here. So this owl-like, bird-like being, you know, it comes up and it wraps Storm, like holds her, right? And, you know, she is absolutely fearful. Shoot, I was fearful when I saw the adversary. I was like, dang, I know this is a cartoon, but this thing looks kind of scary and kind of real at the same time. So I'm interested to see, you know, how they deal with the adversary going forward. Like I said, this is all part of Forge's, you know, manifestation, unfortunately. And, you know, he kind of never really put this thing away that we thought he did. So now the X-Men will have to tag team and defeat the adversary, you know, once and for all. All in all, this episode, it was okay. Like I said, I really was just really like the Storm part of this episode. I'm pretty sure the next episode, X-Men, will be stronger. Of course, in the series, we know that every single episode is not necessarily going to be fire or have a big hit. And I think this is one of the misses. Like I said, if they wanted to do the Storm episode with just 30 minutes by itself, I would have been cool with it. But I see they tag team with Jubilee. It is what it is, you know, but still going to support this. Still loving the series so far. And yeah, I'll be tuning in next week, make another video, sharing my thoughts, right? And before I leave, please tell me your favorite scenes of this episode right here. For me, you already know, Storm, but at the same time, I love Jubilee, because she's like, listen, I want to turn up for my birthday. Magneto's not feeling it. You know, Magneto's uptight. We all understand that, but it is what it is. So, as always, thank you for tuning in to the Lawrence Report.